Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION The World. I'm Jyotsna Kumar. Let's begin with the headlines. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif admits Indian missiles hit several places inside Pakistan, including the Noor Khan Air Base near Islamabad. Recounts 2:30 a.m. call from Pakistan's Chief of Army Staff Asim Munir. New round of negotiations for a ceasefire and hostage deal begins in Qatar as Israeli military expands its offensive in the Gaza Strip. Civic agencies say at least 140 killed in Gaza in the last 24 hours. U.S. President Donald Trump says he will speak to both Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky in an effort to stop what he called a bloodbath war in Ukraine. At least one person dead after a car explodes near a reproductive facility in Palm Springs in California. FBI says the bombing is a terror attack and the facility was likely targeted deliberately. Storm sweeping across the Midwestern U.S. killed at least 25 people, including 18 people in Kentucky, 7 in Missouri. Storm systems also spawned tornadoes in Wisconsin and leave hundreds without power. Yannick Sinner to face third seed Carlos Alcaraz in the Italian Masters final today. The top seed is bidding to end a 49-year wait for an Italian winner of the men's tournament. And our top story on World DNA, the Indian government has rejected claims that it had informed Pakistan about targeting terror infrastructure as part of Operation Sindoor. And the statement came after opposition leader Rahul Gandhi questioned the government over a statement made by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and claimed that informing Pakistan was a crime. And responding to Gandhi's statement, the centre has called it a misinterpretation of facts. On Saturday, Gandhi had shared a video of S. Jaishankar on X. It showed the External Affairs Minister saying that at the start of Operation Sindoor, a message was sent to Pakistan that only terror bases were being struck and not military installations. Questioning the External Affairs Minister in his post, Rahul Gandhi contended that Jaishankar had publicly admitted that the government of India informed Pakistan of its action. He said, and I'm quoting, "Informing Pakistan at the start of our attack was a crime. EAM has publicly admitted that the GOI did it. Who authorized it? How many aircraft did our Air Force lose as a result?" Now, responding to it, the Press Information Bureau's fact-checking unit said the minister had not made any such statement. It said that the social media post falsely implies from Jaishankar's statement that India informed Pakistan about Operation Sindoor. It added that the minister is being misquoted and he has not made this statement. The Ministry of External Affairs also called Rahul Gandhi's statement a misrepresentation. It issued a statement stating that Jaishankar was talking about the early phase after Operation Sindoor started on May 7th. Jaishankar was referring to the call made by Director General of Military Operations Lieutenant General Rajiv Ghai to his Pakistani counterpart. Now, after the Indian Armed Forces struck 9 terrorist sites in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Well, in the latest series of actions taken by India against Pakistan backers, India has restricted Bangladesh imports to Kolkata and Mumbai seaports. India has issued a new trade directive sharply limiting the entry of Bangladeshi ready-made garments to only 2 Indian ports in Kolkata and Mumbai. The move closes all land ports used for these imports that are worth over $700 million annually, signaling a drastic shift in India's trade policy with Bangladesh. Late last month, the Bangladeshi government's nexus with the Pakistani terror group Lashkar-e-Taiba was exposed after a law advisor to Mohammad Yunus held a meeting with an LET operative in Dhaka. The meeting between Bangladesh government's legal advisor Asif Nazrul and LET's Bangladesh module chief Harun Izar sent shockwaves across South Asia. The meeting amid the Pahalgam terror attack carried out by the LET has raised eyebrows. Bangladesh politician and the son of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Sajib Wazid, had shared the report on social media X and that quoted the military intelligence sources in Dhaka, saying the meeting had taken place inside the Ministry of Law. India-Bangladesh ties have deteriorated since Mohammad Yunus' government took charge last year. Yunus' government has largely taken anti-India stance, reaching out to Pakistan and China. In 2024, Bangladesh and Pakistan initiated direct maritime trade routes, marking a historic shift in their bilateral relations. The Panama-flagged vessel MV Yuan Xiang Fajan docked at Chittagong port in November 2024. The vessel, which traveled via Karachi, Pakistan, in Pakistan and Dubai, United Arab Emirates. A second cargo ship followed in December 2024, further solidifying this direct shipping link between Dhaka and Islamabad. The new government in Dhaka has also made a number of anti-India remarks. Recently, Mohammad Yunus' chief advisor appeared to suggest that India's northeast is independent from the country, months after he called the region landlocked. In other global news, governments across the world are fast catching up with the U.S. president's way of conducting diplomacy. Donald Trump is weighing in on current geopolitical conflicts, invariably offering trade as an incentive for U.S. mediation to end wars. After saying the U.S. is hands-off on the India-Pakistan conflict, Trump took credit, claiming that he and his administration played peacemakers. The U.S. president says his suggestion, that is, let's do trade instead of war, prevailed the question. However, the question is, what is the trade and with whom? Making matters murky are the U.S. president's own personal business interests. India's leaders have firmly and categorically denied there was any talk of trade to agree to a ceasefire. But when it comes to Pakistan, however, a different story emerges. There's a timeline. On April 22nd, terrorists targeted 26 tourists in Pahalgam. 3 days later, the Pakistani media reported that Pakistani Army Chief Moodys personally welcomed a U.S. delegation in Islamabad. Moodys' closed-door meeting with them was intended to finalize a deal between crypto firm World Liberty Financial and Pakistan's Crypto Council. Now, World Liberty Financial is a crypto firm in which Trump family holds a 60% stake. And the Pakistan Crypto Council itself was launched hastily just a month ago with the stated goal to turn Islamabad into the crypto capital of South Asia. It engaged Binance founder, Chinese-born Changpeng Zhao, as an advisor. Now, another element of Trump's interest in mediation comes through the U.S. citizen gentry Thomas Beach. A longtime friend of Trump Jr., Beach had reportedly studied with him in 1990. Now, media reports state that within 10 days of Trump's oath-taking on January 30th this year, Beach was in Islamabad. Projecting himself as a Trump associate, he met Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif with the potential investors under an umbrella firm, White Bridge Global. Pakistani media quoted him as saying that Pakistan is the front face for the U.S. in the entire region through White Bridge Real Estate. Beach is reported to have pledged billions of dollars to rebuild the skyline of Karachi and Islamabad. Well, no doubt all of this is trade. The question is, who is being benefited? And interestingly, the U.S. president's business interest represents a significant shift from just over a year ago. Forbes data states that Trump's wealth has turned around. It has more than doubled to over $5 billion this year. That is from $2.3 billion in 2024. Unlike his first term, when Trump's wealth had actually fallen, this time around, there is a clear spike. And we're moving on. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that he will speak with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky after his call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And this is the latest initiative by him to achieve a ceasefire agreement in the three-year-old war. In a new Truth Social post, Trump said he will speak to Russian President Vladimir Putin on the phone in order to end what he calls bloodbath in Ukraine. He added that the call will take place on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov confirmed the state news agency that preparations were underway for the call. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has welcomed the latest Ukraine-Russia prisoner exchange agreement in a phone call with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce said that Rubio emphasized Trump's call for an immediate ceasefire. And on the other side, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney met Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the Canadian Embassy in Rome. The two leaders, who are both in Rome to attend Pope Leo's inaugural Mass, took the opportunity to meet for the first time since Carney was elected as Prime Minister of Canada. And during the meeting, Carney pledged his commitment to Ukraine, saying that there could be no peace without the full participation of Ukraine.
Canadian people stand in steadfast and unwavering support of your leadership, of the people of Ukraine. We admire what you're doing. We admire your commitment to peace, as you've demonstrated again this week. And we underscore that there can be no peace without the full support and participation of Ukraine, and that you have our absolute support.
Now, Trump, during his trip to Gulf nations last week, had offered to travel to Turkey for the talks given Putin attended the meet, but Putin declined the offer. Zelensky also mentioned about Putin's denial to attend this meeting.
Some brief about our peace talks in Turkey.
Yes.
I think that it's important. It's important when two sides want to finish the war, and we really waited for Putin, and he didn't come. We think that he's afraid of bilateral, just direct talks. But anyway, I think that the decision of exchanging of prisoners, war prisoners, very important. 1,000 people, it's a lot, and I hope we will get this result.
Following the meet, Zelensky said he discussed fresh sanctions against Russia with the Canadian Prime Minister. He also specified that deliberations included secondary sanctions, energy-related measures, and sanctions against the Russian shadow fleet. Zelensky's statement was further supported by German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, who said that the European Union would further increase pressure on Russia. He was speaking after his meeting with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni in Rome. Merz stated that he would introduce new sanctions at the EU meeting next week, after the Russia-Ukraine talks fell short of expectations.
Wir werden deshalb den Druck auf Russland.
We will therefore continue to increase the pressure on Russia. On Tuesday, we want to bring the 17th sanctions package into force in the European Union. Among other things, this will target the so-called shadow fleet in the Baltic Sea. The Commission is already working on further proposals. I support the Commission's proposal to start work on European measures against the Nord Stream 2 pipelines, for example.
Nord Stream 2 pipelines aufzunehmen.
And moving on, in the United States, 7 of the 10 inmates who staged a daring escape from a New Orleans jail remain at large. These inmates had escaped after slipping through a hole behind a toilet and scaling a wall. Authorities say they may have had help from staff inside the facility. The inmates are thought to have fled around midnight and were discovered missing during a head count. New footage shows more details of their escape. CCTV footage show an inmate trying to pull a sliding cell door off its tracks. Another inmate joins him. They yank the sliding door from their jail cell off its tracks in the early hours of Friday morning. And according to the authorities, they exited the jail about half an hour later after ripping a toilet from the wall and breaking metal bars around a hole in the wall that was used for piping. They then made their way out through a loading dock. From there, they scaled a wall and fled across an interstate. Surveillance footage released by authorities shows the 10 inmates running across the highway once they made it outside the prison.
It's around 12:23 a.m. They were able to break open a door. There was a corrections monitoring technician in the pod module to be watching that. They were still able to exit the jail about 1:01 a.m. after breaching a wall behind a toilet in the jail, and based on video surveillance, they were seen exiting a door on the docks where we normally bring in supplies, scaling a wall, and running across the interstate shortly thereafter. We have indication that these detainees received assistance in their escape from individuals inside of our department, and the escape was discovered during a routine head count at 8:30 a.m. this morning.
The men scribble messages on the wall before fleeing. One of them reads, "Too easy, LOL." Local sheriff said that the escape may have been aided by members within the department.
We do acknowledge there is no way people can get out of this facility without there being some type of lapse in security. There's no way. It's almost impossible, not completely, but almost impossible for anybody to get out of this facility without help from the outside. We intend to find out exactly what happened.
Now, the men range in age from 19 to 42, many with violent criminal records. Among them is Derek Groves, convicted in connection with the 2018 Mardi Gras Day shootings, and Corey Boyd, who is awaiting trial for second-degree murder. Law enforcement warns some fugitives may seek to harm witnesses tied to ongoing cases. 3 employees have been suspended, and a massive manhunt involving social state and federal law enforcement is underway to nab the inmates. The Orleans Justice Center, which houses around 1,400 inmates, is under intense scrutiny as officials look into possible staff complicity and systemic failures. And well, for the first time in over a century, the United States no longer holds a perfect credit rating with any of the 3 major agencies. And what does this mean for American families and the broader economy? Our next report tells you more.
Moodys has downgraded the United States credit rating, ending more than a century of top-tier status. The downgrade follows similar moves by Fitch in 2023 and S&P in 2011, marking the first time all 3 major rating agencies have rated US debt below AAA. Moodys cited the country's mounting debt burden, rising interest costs, and ongoing political dysfunction as key reasons for the downgrade. The US currently faces a $1.8 trillion annual budget deficit, and that figure is projected to grow. Despite the downgrade, Moodys maintains a stable outlook, crediting strong institutions and effective monetary policy led by the Federal Reserve. Moodys' decision comes amid rising fiscal stress and deepening political divisions in Washington. The agency pointed to repeated debt ceiling crises, including the near default last summer and the unprecedented removal of House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. At the same time, President Trump is pushing for the One Big Beautiful Bill, a sweeping legislative package that includes major tax cuts and spending reductions. While the plan aims to shrink government, estimates show that it would actually add $3.3 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. The bill includes permanent extensions of the 2017 tax cuts and cuts to Medicaid and food stamps. But projected revenue losses far exceed spending cuts. The downgrade could have far-reaching effects on everyday Americans. US Treasury securities have long been considered the safest investments in the world. But with Moody's downgrade, borrowing costs are expected to rise. That means higher interest rates on mortgages, auto loans and credit cards. The 10-year Treasury yield, which influences a wide range of financial products, could be pushed higher as investors demand more return for greater perceived risk. As the nation inches closer to another debt ceiling deadline, the spotlight is now on Congress and the White House to take concrete steps to stabilize the fiscal outlook and restore market confidence. Bureau Report WION, World is One.
And over to cricket now. It's the first Sunday doubleheader after the resumption of Indian Premier League. The first match will see Rajasthan Royals take on Punjab Kings in Jaipur, and then Delhi Capital will host the Gujarat Titans. The Rajasthan Royals have had a disastrous campaign this season. They have already been knocked out of the playoffs race, and their upcoming clash against the Punjab Kings will mark their final home game of the season. The Royals enjoy a dominant 5-1 win record over the Kings at this venue. This is statistics they'll be keen to build on. On the other hand, Punjab will be out to avenge their 50-run defeat to the Royals in Mulanpur earlier this season. The visitors currently sit third on the points table with 15 points from 11 matches. Their previous fixture against the Delhi Capitals in Dharamshala was called off due to India-Pakistan tensions and is scheduled to be replayed next week. And before that, they registered an impressive 37-run win over Lucknow Super Giants. Delhi Capitals will face Gujarat Titans in the second match at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Gujarat currently sit at the top of the points table with 8 wins from 11 matches. They need just one more win to secure their spot in the playoffs. If they win 2 of their last 3 games, that would likely guarantee them a top 2 finish. On the other hand, Delhi Capitals have had a more inconsistent journey. They began the season on a strong note, winning 4 matches in a row, but lost their rhythm midway through the tournament. Akshar Patel's side are currently 5th with 13 points from 11 matches. They will need to win at least 2 of their remaining 3 games to stay in contention for a playoff spot. Delhi will be missing their leading wicket taker of the season, Mitchell Starc, who has taken 14 wickets in 11 matches. Well, let's now take a look at what's making news in the world of entertainment. British singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran gave fans in Mexico a night to remember on 14th of May. The perfect hitmaker unexpectedly showed up at a restaurant in Mexico City and treated guests to a surprise mini concert. Among the songs he performed were Old Phone and Thinking Out Loud. The intimate performance took place at Sono Tenampa, a popular venue known for its mariachi music, making Sheeran's acoustic set even more unexpected and special. Musician Smokey Robinson is facing serious allegations. The 85-year-old, whose real name is William Robinson, is currently under criminal investigation following accusations of sexual assault made by 4 anonymous employees. Authorities have confirmed that an investigation has been launched. Robinson's lawyer has stated that they are aware of the situation, but no further comments have been made at this time. And well, exciting news for Star Trek fans. Star Trek Strange New World is officially returning for a 3rd season. Paramount Plus has announced that the first 2 episodes will premiere on July 17th. The much-loved sci-fi series stars Anson Mount, Rebecca Romijn, Ethan Peck, and Jess Bush, among others. All right, with that, we call a wrap to World DNA. Do stay tuned. News and updates will follow on the other side. You're watching Beyond World is One. Stay tuned.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
As summer season officially kicks off, we tell you all about the big summer releases. Meet Indian actor Babil Khan as he talks about Bollywood and life.
Hello, Flat Maniacs! मैं हूँ तुम्हारा Flatman.
And find out why cargo pants are back in trend. All this and much more with me, Diksha Bisla, on Beyond at these times.
हमने आतंकवादियों को मिट्टी में मिलाने के लिए भारत की सेनाओं को पूरी छूट दे दी। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने आतंक के खिलाफ एक नई लकीर खींच दी है, एक नया पैमाना, न्यू नॉर्मल तय कर दिया।
This week on Inside South Asia, India sets new normal for ties with Pakistan. Terror will be treated as an act of war. Is Pakistan losing control in Balochistan? Burning insurgencies and civil unrest are on the rise. And Tiranga Yatra marches across India. Unity and solidarity with the armed forces.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
This week on the West Asia Post, Saudi Arabia rolls out the lavender carpet to welcome US President Donald Trump. Not only did Trump sign billion-dollar deals in Riyadh, he also lifted crippling sanctions on Syria.
We're going to have to make a decision on the sanctions, which we may very well relieve. We may take them off of Syria because we want to give them a fresh start.
Also on the show, we talk about PKK's decision to end its 40-year insurgency in Turkey and the growing condemnation against Netanyahu's Gaza operations.
Watch the West Asia Post with me, Radif